Hi, everyone. Welcome to the IMI Global webinar series. Today, I have a special guest with me. We're going to talk about their breed verified program. I have Colt Keffer with the American International Charolais Association. Thanks for being here, Colt. If you could formally introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks, Ashley. It's great to be on, and I appreciate the time to kind of go over the Charolais Association and the Char Advantage program. Like I said, my name is Colt Keffer. I'm the Director of Industry Relations and Sales for the American International Charolais Association. On top of that, I cover an 8-state area as a field representative. My main job description is attend a lot of sales as far as the production sales go, but then with the Char Advantage program, facilitate the signing up of the cattle, talking through the process when it comes to source and age verification all the way up through the beef care program. So work closely with IMI and try to get those cattle to where the producer understands the program as well as the genetics.
Awesome. Well, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but can you elaborate some more and talk to us about your guys' breed verified program? What are some of the qualifications and requirements that producers would have to meet if they are interested in Char Advantage?
It's a good question. The program obviously is in partnership with IMI Global. We've got just a few requirements. They have to be 50%, at least 50% Charolais, and the bulls that they use or the parents that they use have to be registered with the AICA. So when we're going through and we're signing up cattle for the program, obviously make sure that they're used out of Charolais bulls and make sure those bulls are registered. We don't put any sort of genetic benchmarking qualifications on it. We only utilize those as kind of added benefits. The only requirements are 50% Charolais and they have to be registered.
So can you kind of touch on why did you guys decide it was important to build the Char Advantage program?
Well, a few years ago, we were just looking for a way to, I guess, kind of add value to the cattle would be the most simple way to put it. As you travel around like I do, when you're talking just kind of general sale barn type of more commodity driven type of cattle, people that utilize Charolais genetics are fortunate that they were getting good money for their cattle. So we didn't have just a direct way of tapping into that market, but we noticed that obviously the premiums were coming from the value-added programs, from the NHTCs, from the naturals, beef cares, that type of stuff. So we wanted to create a program simply as another layer to help market Charolais sired cattle. Once again, and add the value and expose them to a different marketplace.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit within that question, but how does this program really benefit the producer?
Well, it benefits the producer as the most simple way I can say, and the best analogy I can give it is, you get a lot of hybrid vigor when you use a Charolais on British cows and on many different cow bases. Some people that I've ran into within the program the last few years, they didn't implant, but they never documented it. So what I've seen, obviously third-party verification is huge. If you're not implanting those cattle, you might as well take advantage of the documentation that you're not doing that and try to get a premium for it. So that's just one minor example, but I think that the producers are taking their cattle and using these programs to gain benefit, but to gain exposure in a different marketplace.
Awesome. Now I'm going to kind of transition to another important player, the consumer. So how does this program benefit consumers and what should they look for?
Well, obviously there's consumer driven buzzwords like traceability, pasture to plate, that type of stuff. people want to know where their food comes from. So when we even talk about source and age verification, I think that's something that we learned as we were starting this process. When you talk to all the major packers, they've got programs that are source and age driven. They've got programs that are all the program driven, but source and age verification, I think, is going to be almost a requirement here before too long, and it's simply driven off the consumer wanting to know where their beef's coming from. And I think you just take that as the base level and go from there. I think programs like Char Advantage, anything like that, are going to continue to grow in size just because that's what the consumer's driving. Obviously, there's natural, there's non-hormone beef out there, and I think that's going to continue to grow, whether it's on the major packer level or whether it's on the farmer feeder type of level. I think those are our industry segments that are not going to go away.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The biggest thing now is consumers want to know where their food comes from, and having programs like the Char Advantage program, which kind of starts that initial conversation and builds that relationship between the producer and the consumer, is really important. So awesome. Colt, the last question I have is do you have anything else that for producers to know that we haven't touched on in our conversation?
I guess the biggest thing that I've seen, I shouldn't say it's the biggest thing, but the one thing that that I've noticed as I talk to people about signing up for the Char Advantage program, and our main goal, or I should say one of our goals behind it, was to take cattle that have never been entered into a program and enroll them in a program if they so choose. The biggest thing is some people see the paperwork and some people see the added labor they've got to go through to get the cattle enrolled in any program, and it seems a little scary. And I'm here to tell you that it's really not. And you guys make it really easy. You know, after that first year, you're going to kind of have to maybe keep your records a little different and go through the paces there. But after that, it's really, really easy to do. And I haven't had one person that I've dealt with. And we've doubled the number of cattle from 2019 to 2020 that are enrolled in the program. Not one person has said, this is too much paperwork. This is too much of a hassle. You know, looking back, hindsight's always 20/20, and everybody's agreed that the paperwork's really easy to get through. So I just wouldn't be scared if I was a producer that was interested in any of those programs, because it's really easy to go through, and you guys make it really easy.
Well, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, and we appreciate all of your support and continuing to encourage producers on your guys' end to look at value-added programs and our partnership together. So kind of to round this out, Colt, what is a good way for a producer to get a hold of you or Charolais Association if they are interested in the Char Advantage, and maybe ask them additional questions for that?
The best place is to go to charolaiusa.com. That has the general information about the breed, as it should, as well as the Char Advantage program. It's got all our contact numbers on there and email addresses, but then it breaks down kind of what the Char Advantage program is, how the breed and how the breed genetic identifiers intertwine with the Char Advantage program. So, I mean, like I said, charolaiusa.com has all the information about the breed, as well as the Char Advantage program. That's the best resource.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Colt, for taking some time out of your day to spend with us. We really appreciate the Char Advantage program and the partnership that we have with you guys. If you want to check it out, obviously, like Colt said, check out charolaiusa.com, or you can go to our IMI Global website, imiglobal.com. We have a little section in there that talks about the Char Advantage program and kind of gives Colt's contact information, and he can also talk to you there. So thank you again, guys, for talking with us, and we'll see you next time.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Ashley.